crack echoed through the hallway, bones snapping like dry wood. Lily's scream died in her throat as Jake twisted harder, his face contorted with rage. Her left arm gave first, then the right, and the world exploded into white-hot agony. She collapsed against the wall, arms dangling at unnatural angles, while her brother stood over her, breathing hard. "Tell anyone, and I'll finish what I started," he hissed. She didn't tell. Not that night, not the next day, not for the 5 years that followed. She just learned to hide the pain, to smile through the ache, to pretend her arms had healed right when they hadn't. Tonight, 36 Marines would learn exactly what those broken arms had cost her, and what they'd made her become. Before we dive into Lily's story, hit that subscribe button and drop a comment telling me what city you're watching from. I want to see how far this story travels. Now let's get into it. Lily Chen stood in the back corner of the recruitment office, watching the parade of bodies flow through the door. Young men, mostly, confident, loud. They filled out their paperwork with the kind of swagger that came from never having been truly broken. She kept her arms crossed, feeling the familiar ache deep in the bone where the fractures had healed wrong. 5 years since that night, and her body still remembered. The doctors at the free clinic had done what they could. 3 months after the fact, when she'd finally worked up the courage to go alone. But bones that sat crooked stayed crooked. Her right arm had a subtle bend just below the elbow. Her left carried less weight than it should. "Next!" The recruiter's voice cut through the chatter. Lily moved forward, her paperwork clutched in hands that had learned to compensate for their weakness. The recruiter, a broad-shouldered man with a name tag reading Michaels, barely glanced up. Age? 21. Education? High school. 2 years community college. His eyes flicked up then, taking in her small frame, her careful posture. "You sure about this?" "Yes, sir. Physical requirements are..." "I know the requirements." Michaels leaned back in his chair, studying her with the kind of assessment that made her skin crawl. She'd seen that look before. The measuring, the dismissal forming behind the eyes. "Most women wash out in the first month," he said. "No offense, but you don't look like you could handle a standard pack march." Lily set her paperwork on his desk with controlled precision. "Then I guess I'll be the exception." Something flickered in his expression, amusement maybe, or pity. "We'll see. Report to Camp Pendleton, Building 447, Monday at 0600. Don't be late." She walked out before he could say anything else, before the trembling in her hands could betray how much that interaction had cost her. The parking lot stretched out in the late afternoon sun, and Lily leaned against her rusted Honda, fighting the urge to vomit. She'd done it, actually gone through with it. After 5 years of working double shifts at the diner, sleeping in her car half the time, avoiding every place Jake might be, she'd finally made a move towards something different. Her phone buzzed. A text from her mother. "Your brother's asking about you. Says you owe him money." Lily deleted it without responding. Jake was always asking about something. Money, her location, whether she'd kept her mouth shut. Their mother enabled it, always had. "Boys will be boys," she'd said that night, finding Lily curled up on the bathroom floor, arms cradled against her chest. "You probably provoked him." The memory made her stomach twist. She'd stopped expecting protection from that house a long time ago. "Hey, you the new recruit?" Lily turned. A woman stood a few feet away, maybe 30, with close-cropped hair and a confidence that radiated from her stance. She wore civilian clothes, but everything about her screamed military. "Yeah," Lily said carefully. "Sergeant Kelly Rodriguez." She extended her hand. "I do liaison work for female recruits. Saw your name on the roster." Lily shook her hand, feeling the firm grip, the calluses that spoke of hard training. Lily Chen. "You got a minute? Want to grab coffee?" "I don't have much money." "My treat. Come on." They ended up at a dingy corner cafe, the kind where the coffee tasted like burnt rubber, but nobody asked questions. Rodriguez ordered 2 cups and slid one across the table. So, Rodriguez said, what's your story? My story? Everyone's got one. Why join up? What you're running from? She sipped her coffee, eyes steady. Or who? Lily wrapped her hands around the cup, feeling its warmth seep into her palms. I'm not running. Okay, what are you doing then? The question hung in the air. Lily stared into the dark liquid, watching steam rise in delicate spirals. Making a choice, she finally said. For once in my life, making a choice that's mine. Rodriguez nodded slowly. Fair enough, but I'm going to tell you something, and you need to hear it. The military doesn't fix you. It's not a rehab program or a therapy session. It'll push every broken part of you until something either heals or shatters completely. She leaned forward. I saw how Michaels looked at you, like you were already a washout. You're going to see that look a lot in the next few months. From instructors, from fellow recruits, from men who think women don't belong in combat roles. Her voice dropped. The question is whether you're going to prove them right or prove them wrong. I'm not washing out. Good. Then show up Monday ready to bleed for it, because they're going to make you. Rodriguez stood, dropping a few bills on the table. One more thing. Camp Pendleton has a reputation. There's a unit there, Reconnaissance Battalion, 36 active Marines, all men. They call themselves the Lions. They've got this tradition. Every new female recruit who comes through, they make it their mission to break her. Psychological warfare mostly. They'll mock you, test you, push every button until you either quit or punch someone. She met Lily's eyes. I'm telling you this because forewarned is forearmed. Don't give them ammunition. Lily's jaw tightened. I've dealt with worse. Maybe, maybe not. Rodriguez headed for the door, then paused. The arms. How bad? Lily's breath caught. What? I noticed how you hold them, how you compensate. Old injury? For a moment, Lily considered lying, but Rodriguez's gaze held something that looked like understanding, not judgment. Broken, Lily said quietly. 5 years ago, they healed wrong. Rodriguez's expression darkened. Can you handle the physical requirements? I'll manage. That's not what I asked. I've been managing for 5 years. I'll keep managing. All right. Rodriguez pulled out a card, scribbled something on the back. That's my personal number. You run into trouble, real trouble, not just standard hazing. You call me. Understood? Lily took the card, sliding it into her pocket. Why are you helping me? Because I was you once. Different circumstances, same look in the eyes. Rodriguez pushed open the door. See you Monday, Chen. Try to get some sleep between now and then. You're going to need it. Monday morning came with the kind of cold that sank into bones and stayed there. Lily stood outside building 447 at 0545, her duffel bag slung over her shoulder, watching other recruits filter in. Most were men, broad-shouldered and cocky. A handful of women clustered together, already forming alliances. Lily stayed apart. She'd learned years ago that alliances meant vulnerability. At exactly 0600, the doors opened and a drill instructor emerged, a mountain of a man with a voice that could strip paint. Inside, now! Move, move, move! They flooded into the building, a chaotic mass of nervous energy and false bravado. The interior was stripped bare, concrete floors, fluorescent lights, metal folding chairs arranged in rows. At the front of the room stood 3 instructors, and behind them, a group of men in fatigues who watched the recruits with predatory interest. The Lions, Lily realized, all 36 of them. Attention, the lead instructor bellowed. I am Master Sergeant Davis. For the next 12 weeks, your life belongs to me. You will eat when I say eat, sleep when I say sleep, breathe when I say breathe. Some of you think you're tough. Some of you think you're special. His eyes swept the room. You're not. You're maggots. And my job is to determine which maggots might be worth turning into Marines. One of the lions stepped forward, a lean man with sharp features and corporal stripes on his sleeve. "Sergeant Davis, permission to address the recruits?" "Granted, Corporal Morrison." Morrison's smile was all teeth. "Ladies and gentlemen, we are Lion Company, Reconnaissance Battalion. We've been tasked with assisting in your training, which means you'll be seeing a lot of us over the next few months. We're here to make you better." His eyes found Lily in the crowd, or expose your weaknesses, whichever comes first. Another lion laughed, a harsh, barking sound. "Check out Tiny over there." "What are you, 5 foot nothing?" Lily kept her face blank, her arms at her sides. "I asked you a question, recruit," Morrison barked. 5'2", Corporal." 5'2", Morrison repeated, and the lions erupted in laughter. "Christ, you couldn't reach the pull-up bar even if we gave you a ladder." "I'll manage, Corporal." "You'll manage." Morrison walked toward her, his boots echoing on the concrete. "You hear that, boys? She'll manage. I'm sure that'll be real comforting when you're carrying a 60-pound pack through 20 miles of desert." "Corporal Morrison," Master Sergeant Davis cut in, "you'll have plenty of time to test the recruits later. For now, let them settle in." Morrison backed off, but his eyes stayed on Lily, calculating, dismissive. The other lions whispered among themselves, and Lily heard fragments. "Won't last a week. Waste of space. Attention-seeking." She stood perfectly still, breathing through her nose, counting heartbeats until the moment passed. The first week was designed to break them. 5 a.m. wake-ups, endless push-ups, running until their lungs burned. Lily kept pace with sheer stubbornness, her arms screaming protest every time she lowered herself to the ground. The bones ached deep, a reminder of what Jake had stolen from her. The lions watched everything. They materialized during runs, shouting encouragement to male recruits while sneering at the women. During meal breaks, they'd sit nearby, making comments just loud enough to hear. "She's shaking," one observed as Lily carried her tray past them on day 3. "Look at her arms. Probably can't even hold a rifle steady." "Give her time," another replied. "She'll quit before week 2. They always do." Lily ate in silence, forcing down food that tasted like ash. Across the table, another female recruit, a tall blonde named Stevens, leaned in. "Don't let them get to you," Stevens whispered. "I'm not. They're trying to make you crack." "I know what they're doing," Lily met her eyes, "and it won't work." But by day 5, even Stevens was showing cracks. During an obstacle course run, she collapsed halfway through, sobbing into the dirt. 2 instructors pulled her aside. She didn't come back. That night in the barracks, whispers spread like wildfire. Another woman gone, another victory for the lions. Lily lay in her bunk, staring at the ceiling, feeling her arms throb with each heartbeat. The pain was constant now, pushed beyond what her body could handle. She'd been taking ibuprofen like candy, but it barely touched the deep ache. "Chen." She turned her head. Rodriguez stood in the doorway, silhouetted against the hall light. "Walk with me." They went outside into the cool night air. The base was quiet, most recruits already asleep. Rodriguez led her to a bench near the edge of the compound. "How are the arms?" Rodriguez asked. "Fine. Don't lie to me. I watched you during drills today. You're compensating so hard you're throwing off your balance." Rodriguez pulled out a small bottle from her pocket. "Prescription-strength anti-inflammatory. My personal stash. Take one in the morning, one at night. Don't exceed that." Lily took the bottle carefully. "Why?" "Because you're not going to quit," Rodriguez said, "and I'd rather you get through this without permanent damage." She paused. "The lions are escalating. I heard what Morrison said to you yesterday." "I can handle it. That's not the point. They're not just testing you anymore. They're targeting you specifically, and I need you to understand why." Rodriguez turned to face her fully. 3 years ago, a female recruit made it through their gauntlet. She was tough, skilled, didn't take their crap. They hated her for it. So they made her life hell until she finally snapped and took a swing at one of them. She was discharged for assault. Lily's stomach dropped. They set her up. They created a situation where she had no good options, and now they've decided you're their new project. Morrison especially, he's got a mean streak and something to prove. Rodriguez's voice hardened. So I need you to be smarter than they are. Don't give them anything they can use against you. No matter what they say, no matter what they do, you keep your head down and push through. What if pushing through isn't enough? Then you adapt, find another way, but you don't quit, and you don't let them make you quit. Rodriguez stood. Get some sleep. Tomorrow's the first full pack march, 20 miles. The Lions will be running alongside the entire time, and they'll focus on every recruit they think is weak. She looked down at Lily. Which means they'll focus on you. The pack weighed 68 pounds. Lily felt every ounce as she adjusted the straps, trying to distribute the load evenly across shoulders that weren't built for this kind of weight. Around her, male recruits hoisted their packs with practiced ease, chatting and joking. Master Sergeant Davis stood at the front of the formation. 20 miles! You will maintain pace. You will not fall behind. Anyone who quits will be immediately removed from the program. Move out! They started at a brutal pace. Within the first mile, Lily's arms were on fire. The straps dug into shoulders still bruised from the obstacle course. Her right arm, the one that had healed with that subtle bend, couldn't quite hold the weight properly, forcing her left to overcompensate. And the Lions were everywhere. They ran alongside the formation, fresh and unburdened, calling out commentary like sportscasters. Chen's already falling behind. Morrison's voice carried over the sound of boots on gravel. What did I tell you? Week 1 and she's done. Lily gritted her teeth and pushed harder. Her lungs burned. Her legs screamed. But she kept pace. Mile 3. Her vision started to blur at the edges. She focused on the recruit ahead of her, matching their stride exactly. Mile 5. Morrison jogged up beside her. You know what I find fascinating, Chen? How some people just refuse to accept reality. You're not built for this. Your body is literally telling you to stop. But here you are, stubbornly destroying yourself for, what? Pride? She didn't respond. Couldn't spare the breath. Silent treatment. Classic. He dropped back, but his voice followed. She'll drop by mile 10. Taking bets. Mile 8. One of the male recruits stumbled, nearly falling. 2 Lions immediately moved to support him, offering water, encouragement. You got this, brother. Keep pushing. Lily's canteen was nearly empty. Nobody offered to refill it. Mile 10. Her right arm went numb, just completely lost feeling from elbow to fingertip. Panic flared. If the pack shifted now, if she lost her grip, she used her teeth to adjust the strap, biting down on the webbing and pulling it tighter with her working arm. The Lions saw. Oh, that's rich, one of them howled. She's using her mouth like a dog. Somebody get a picture. Laughter erupted. Lily kept walking. Mile 15. 3 more recruits had dropped out. The formation was thinning. Lily's entire body had moved past pain into something else. A distant, floating sensation that felt dangerously close to shutdown. Still going, Morrison observed, jogging backward in front of her. I'll admit I'm impressed. Stupid, but impressed. Of course, we both know you're not going to make it. So why don't you just save yourself the embarrassment and quit now? Nobody will think less of you. Well, I mean, we already think the worst, so... Shut up. The words came out as a rasp. Morrison stopped dead. The other Lions went quiet. What did you just say to me? Lily looked up, meeting his eyes for the first time. Hers were bloodshot, streaming sweat, but absolutely clear. I said shut up, sir. For a long moment, nobody moved. Then Morrison's face split into a grin, not amused, but predatory. Well, well, the mouse has teeth. He leaned in close. That's going to cost you, Chen. Mark my words. He jogged away and the lions followed, but their whispers carried back. Lily had just made herself the primary target. Mile 20. The finish line appeared like a mirage. Lily's legs moved on pure automation. She had no feeling in either arm now, just a distant awareness that they existed somewhere attached to her body. She crossed the line and immediately collapsed. The world spun. Hands grabbed her, medics, maybe instructors. Someone was checking her pulse, her breathing. Voices overlapped. Severe dehydration. Possible stress fractures. Get her to medical. Through the chaos, Lily heard Morrison's voice, pitched low to one of his fellow lions. She made it. Damn. Well, we'll just have to try harder next time. In the medical tent, Rodriguez appeared, her face tight with anger. You could have died out there, she said, once the medics had cleared out. But I didn't. Your arms are compromised, Lily. The doctor said you've got microfractures forming in the same places they broke before. If you keep pushing like this, then I'll deal with it. Lily struggled to sit up, ignoring the wave of dizziness. I'm not quitting. I'm not asking you to quit, I'm asking you to be smart. Rodriguez grabbed a chair, sitting down hard. The lions are escalating. Morrison's not just hazing you anymore. He sees you as a personal challenge, and he's not going to stop until you either break or give him a reason to have you discharged. So what do? You survive, you adapt, and you wait for an opening. Rodriguez's eyes gleamed. Because here's something Morrison doesn't know. In 2 weeks, there's a readiness evaluation. All recruits will be tested on combat skills, hand-to-hand, tactical response, weapons proficiency. The Lions run the evaluation, which means Morrison will be there, in the ring, personally testing every recruit. She leaned forward. That's your opening. If you can last 3 minutes against him without tapping out, you'll earn mandatory respect per core regulations. It won't stop the harassment completely, but it'll force them to back off. 3 minutes. Against a fully trained reconnaissance Marine who outweighs you by 100 pounds and has 8 years of combat experience. Rodriguez's expression was grim. I'm not going to lie to you, your chances are almost zero. But if you're committed to this path, that's your best shot at changing the dynamic. Lily lay back, feeling her arms throb in perfect synchronization with her heartbeat. 3 minutes, against Morrison, with arms that barely functioned properly. Teach me, she said. Rodriguez blinked. What? You said I need to adapt, to find another way. So teach me. I've got 2 weeks. Show me how to fight with broken arms. For a long moment, Rodriguez just stared at her. Then slowly, a smile crept across her face, sharp and dangerous. You're either the bravest recruit I've ever met or the most insane. She stood, extending her hand. Tomorrow night, 2200 hours, behind the equipment shed, wear dark clothes, and Chen? Rodriguez's smile widened. Get ready to learn what dirty fighting really means. Lily took her hand, letting Rodriguez pull her upright. Pain shot through both arms, sharp and immediate. But beneath the pain, something else stirred. Something that had been dormant since the night Jake broke her. Not hope, exactly. Something harder, more dangerous. The determination to make every person who'd ever dismissed her watch as she proved them catastrophically wrong. The equipment shed cast long shadows in the moonlight, and Lily stood in the darkness, waiting. Her arms still ached from the march, a deep throbbing that ibuprofen couldn't touch. She'd wrapped both wrists in athletic tape, trying to provide some stability. Rodriguez emerged from the shadows like a ghost. You actually showed up. You thought I wouldn't? Most recruits would be smart enough to stay in bed. Rodriguez circled her slowly, assessing. Take off the tape. But I need to see what I'm working with. The real situation, not the compensated version. Lily unwrapped her wrists, and immediately her hands trembled slightly without the support. Rodriguez caught her right arm, feeling along the bone with practiced fingers. The bend is here, she said, pressing gently. Lily hissed. And you've got reduced grip strength on this side, yeah? About 40% of normal. Your left overcompensates, which means it fatigues faster. Rodriguez released her arm. Standard fighting assumes you've got two functional weapons. You don't. So we're going to teach you how to fight like you're already injured, because you are. How do I beat Morrison with broken arms? Rodriguez's laugh was sharp. You don't beat him, not in any traditional sense. He's got 100 pounds on you, 8 years of training, and 2 fully functional arms. In a fair fight, you'd lose in 30 seconds. She moved closer. So we're going to make sure it's not a fair fight. What does that mean? It means you're going to learn the difference between sport fighting and survival fighting. Sport has rules. Survival doesn't. Rodriguez dropped into a crouch. Morrison will expect you to try standard defensive techniques. He'll expect you to tap out when the pain gets bad. He won't expect you to go for his eyes, his throat, his groin. He won't expect you to use your teeth, your forehead, your knees. He won't expect you to fight dirty. The instructors will see a small recruit using every tool available to survive against a superior opponent. That's not against regulations. That's smart tactics. Rodriguez's smile was dangerous. Now show me your stance. For the next 2 hours, Rodriguez dismantled everything Lily thought she knew about fighting and rebuilt it from scratch. No reliance on arm strength. Everything came from legs, core, momentum. She learned to use her elbows instead of her fists, her knees instead of kicks. Rodriguez taught her where the human body was most vulnerable, the soft spots that could drop someone regardless of size difference. Throat, here. Rodriguez tapped her own neck. Even light pressure triggers panic. Eyes, you don't need to blind him, just make him flinch. Solar plexus, kidney, inner thigh, these are your targets. This feels like cheating. This is surviving. There's a difference. Rodriguez grabbed her suddenly, putting her in a headlock. Now get out. Lily struggled, her arms useless in the position. Panic flared. Rodriguez's grip was iron. Arms won't help you, Rodriguez said calmly. What else do you have? Lily went limp for a second, making Rodriguez support her full weight. Then she drove her heel down hard on Rodriguez's instep. The grip loosened fractionally. Lily twisted, getting her teeth near Rodriguez's forearm, and bit down. Rodriguez released her, laughing. Good, unexpected. That's what you need. She rolled her shoulder. Again. They trained every night after that. Lily would drag herself through the day's brutal schedule, then meet Rodriguez behind the shed, learning techniques that would make any traditional martial artist cringe. How to fish hook someone's mouth. How to use her forehead as a weapon. How to make someone panic by attacking their breathing. The days bled together in a haze of pain and exhaustion. The Lion's harassment intensified. Morrison seemed to have made breaking Lily his personal mission. During morning PT, he'd position himself directly in her eyeline. 50 push-ups. Let's see if Chen can manage 10 before her noodle arms give out. She'd manage 20 before collapsing. He'd laugh. 20? Impressive. For a 6-year-old. During rifle training, he'd stand behind her, critiquing every movement. Your grip is weak. Your stance is off. That weapon weighs more than you do. How exactly do you plan to shoot accurately when you can't even hold it steady? Lily adjusted her grip, compensating. Put 3 rounds center mass on the target. Morrison walked away without comment. But the worst came during meals. The Lions had a table in the corner of the mess hall, and they'd turned their running commentary into entertainment for the entire room. So Chen, Morrison called across the space during lunch on day 12. I've been curious. What made you think you could hack it here? Like genuinely. Did you look in the mirror one day and think, yeah, I'm Marine material? The room went quiet, everyone watching. Lily kept eating, her jaw tight. I'm asking a legitimate question, Morrison continued, because from where I'm sitting, you're the weakest recruit we've had in 5 years. You can barely handle the pack weight. Your upper body strength is non-existent. You're a liability waiting to happen. He leaned forward. So why are you still here? What's the point? The other lions chuckled. A few recruits joined in. Lily set down her fork carefully. The point, she said quietly, is that I'm still here, and you're still wasting breath talking about me. Morrison's expression shifted. What did you say? You heard me. Lily met his eyes. If I'm so weak, so pathetic, why do you spend every day focused on me? Seems like a waste of a reconnaissance marine's valuable time. The mess hall went dead silent. Morrison stood, and for a second, Lily thought he might actually cross the room and hit her. But Master Sergeant Davis materialized at his elbow. Something wrong, Corporal Morrison? Morrison's jaw worked. No, Sergeant. Just having a conversation with the recruit. Conversation's over. Sit down. Morrison sat, but his eyes never left Lily. She'd crossed a line, and they both knew it. That night, Rodriguez was furious. What the hell were you thinking? Antagonizing him in public? He pushed. I pushed back. You gave him motivation to destroy you. Rodriguez paced. The evaluation is in 4 days. 4 days, Lily. You need him underestimating you, not gunning for your throat. He's already gunning for my throat. At least now it's honest. Rodriguez stopped pacing, studying her. You're not afraid of him. I've been afraid my whole life. I'm tired of it. Being tired of fear and being stupid are two different things. Rodriguez sat heavily. Okay, change of strategy. If Morrison's coming for you full force, we need to prepare for that. No more holding back in training. Tonight, I'm going to hurt you. Really hurt you. Because pain is coming, and you need to know you can function through it. I can handle pain. We'll see. Rodriguez was true to her word. That night's training was brutal. She put Lily through simulated combat scenarios where the only goal was to keep fighting despite injury. She'd apply joint locks until Lily's vision went white, then demand she continue anyway. She'd strike pressure points that sent lightning through Lily's nervous system, teaching her to compartmentalize. Morrison will try to make you tap out early, Rodriguez explained, after dropping Lily for the 3rd time. He'll go for your arms because he knows they're compromised. He'll want you screaming, and the second you tap, you're done. No respect, no redemption. Just another washout who couldn't hack it. Lily pushed herself up on shaking arms. So I don't tap. You don't tap, no matter what. Even if you think your arms are breaking again. Even if you're sure you can't take anymore. You don't tap until the 3 minutes are up. What if I can't move? Then you lay there and take it until time expires. It's not about winning, Lily. It's about not quitting. That's what earns respect. Rodriguez pulled her to her feet. Again. By the time they finished, Lily could barely walk back to the barracks. Her arms were useless, her entire body one massive bruise. She collapsed into her bunk, fully clothed, and sleep took her immediately. She dreamed of Jake. Of that night 5 years ago, his hands on her arms, twisting, the snap of bone, her own screaming. But in the dream, she didn't just take it, she fought back. She used everything Rodriguez had taught her. Teeth, knees, elbows, and Jake went down. She woke gasping, her arms on fire. The other recruits were still asleep. Dawn was an hour away. Lily lay in the darkness, feeling her pulse slowly settle. 4 more days, then she'd face Morrison. Either she'd last 3 minutes or everything. The pain, the humiliation, the endless pushing would be for nothing. The next 3 days passed in a blur. The Lions' harassment reached a fever pitch. They'd accidentally bump into her during drills, sending her sprawling. They'd critique her form with increasing viciousness. Morrison personally supervised every activity she participated in, pointing out every flaw, every weakness. Your arms are shaking, Chen. You can't even hold a plank position. How are you going to carry a wounded Marine? Your running time is 3 minutes slower than minimum standard. You'd hold up an entire unit. I've seen civilians with better tactical awareness. You're a danger to yourself and everyone around you. But Lily said nothing. She absorbed every insult, every criticism, and channeled it into her training with Rodriguez. Each night, they pushed harder. Rodriguez would attack without warning, forcing Lily to react on instinct. She learned to read micro-expressions, to anticipate movement, to turn defense into offense in the space between heartbeats. "You're getting better," Rodriguez admitted on the third night. "Still not good enough to beat him straight up, but better." "What are my actual chances?" Rodriguez hesitated. "Honestly, maybe 20% that you last the full 3 minutes. Morrison's good, really good, and he's going to be motivated." "So what do I do?" "You make him angry. Angry people make mistakes. If you can get under his skin, make him lose control even a little, his technique will slip. That's your window." Rodriguez grabbed her shoulders. "But you have to be smart about it. Anger him with competence, not mouth. Every time you defend successfully, every time you counter, you're telling him he's not as good as he thinks. That's the insult that matters." The night before the evaluation, Lily couldn't sleep. She lay in her bunk, staring at the ceiling, running through everything Rodriguez had taught her. The vulnerable points, the dirty tricks, the psychological warfare. Her phone buzzed, a text from a number she didn't recognize. She almost deleted it without looking. Then she saw the message. "Heard you're fighting Morrison tomorrow. Good luck, you'll need it. Jake." Lily's blood ran cold. How did he know where she was? How did he get her number? A second text. "You always were stupid, thinking you could be something. You're going to fail just like you fail at everything. Maybe this time you'll learn your lesson." Her hands shook, reading the words. Jake had haunted her for 5 years, but this, tracking her down, reaching out, this was new. This was escalation. A third text. "I told you. Tell anyone, and I'll finish what I started. Looks like you told. Time to pay up." Lily deleted the messages with trembling fingers. Then she turned off her phone and shoved it under her pillow. Jake was a ghost, a memory. He had no power here. But sleep wouldn't come, and when dawn arrived, Lily felt hollowed out, exhausted. Her arms ached worse than ever. This was the worst possible state to enter a fight. Rodriguez found her during breakfast. "You look terrible." "Couldn't sleep." "Too nervous?" "Something like that." "Look at me." Rodriguez waited until Lily met her eyes. "Whatever's in your head right now, you need to let it go. Morrison will read any weakness, any distraction. You need to be present, focused. Can you do that?" Lily thought of Jake's texts, of 5 years of running, of every person who'd ever told her she was weak, broken, worthless. "Yeah," she said, "I can do that." The evaluation was held in the training gymnasium at 1400 hours. All recruits were required to attend. The Lions sat in the front row, 50-yard line seats for the carnage. Master Sergeant Davis stood at center mat with Morrison beside him. "Attention!" Davis's voice cut through the chatter. "Today's evaluation will test hand-to-hand combat proficiency. Each recruit will face one of the Lion Company Marines for a 3-minute controlled combat scenario. The goal is demonstration of technique, awareness, and resilience." His eyes swept the room. "This is not about winning. This is about showing you can handle yourself under pressure. Understood?" "Yes, Sergeant." "First up, Chen and Corporal Morrison." The room erupted in whispers. Lily stood and every eye tracked her movement to the mat. Morrison was already there, rolling his shoulders, loosening up. He looked relaxed, confident. Lily stepped onto the mat and her arms immediately began to tremble. Not from fear, from the weight of everything that had led to this moment. Davis positioned them facing each other. "Standard rules apply. No strikes to groin, throat, or eyes. No biting, no hair pulling. Combat continues until tap out or time expires." He looked at Lily. "You can tap at any time, Chen. No shame in knowing your limits." Morrison smiled. "Yeah, Chen, no shame." Lily said nothing. She rolled her shoulders once, settling into the stance Rodriguez had drilled into her. weight on her back foot, arms up but relaxed, conserving strength. Eyes on Morrison's center mass, not his face. "Ready?" Davis asked. Morrison nodded. Lily breathed out slowly. "Ready." "Begin!" Morrison moved fast, faster than Lily expected. He closed the distance in 2 steps and shot for a takedown, going for her legs. Standard wrestling move. Lily sprawled back, using her hips to defend, just like Rodriguez taught her. Morrison adjusted, switching to an arm drag, trying to get behind her. Here it was, the moment he'd go for her weakened arms. Lily let him catch her right arm, felt his grip lock on above the elbow, right on the old break point. Pain exploded white-hot. He twisted, trying to force her to the ground. But Lily had spent 3 weeks learning to function through exactly this pain. She dropped her weight, making Morrison support her, then drove her left elbow back hard into his ribs. Not enough to injure, that would be a foul, but enough to make him grunt. His grip loosened fractionally. Lily ripped her arm free and created space. Morrison came again, faster now, angrier. He faked high, then swept her legs. Lily went down hard, the impact driving air from her lungs. Morrison followed her to the ground, trying to establish a dominant position. This was his world. Ground fighting was where size and strength mattered most. Rodriguez had been clear, don't let him keep you there. Lily bridged hard, using her hips to create space, then slipped out before Morrison could secure the position. She scrambled to her feet, and Morrison's expression shifted. Surprise. She wasn't supposed to escape that. "Not bad," he said, breathing harder now. "Let's see how long you last." He came again, and this time there was no technique, no finesse, just brutal, overwhelming pressure. He grabbed her, threw her, drove her into the mat with force that rattled her teeth. Every time she got up, he put her down harder. Her arms screamed, her body begged to quit. But Lily didn't tap. Somewhere in the chaos, she heard Rodriguez's voice cutting through the noise. 1 minute down, 2 to go. Morrison's breathing was ragged now. He'd expected her to fold. The fact that she hadn't was pissing him off. Lily could see it in his eyes, frustration bleeding into genuine anger. Good. Angry people make mistakes. He rushed her again, sloppy this time, and Lily sidestepped, using his momentum against him. He stumbled, caught himself, spun back, and Lily saw her opening. His balance was off, his weight forward. She didn't think, just moved. Dropped low and swept his front leg while pushing his chest. Basic, simple. The kind of move that shouldn't work on someone his size. But it did. Morrison went down. The gymnasium exploded. Recruits shouting, lions on their feet. Morrison's face, pure shock, then rage. He surged up, and Lily knew she'd crossed from evaluation into something else. Something personal. 2 minutes! Rodriguez's voice barely audible over the chaos. Morrison came at her like a freight train, and this time when he caught her, there was no technique at all. Just fury. He drove her into the mat so hard her vision spotted, got her in a joint lock that sent fire through both arms. Lily bit through her lip to keep from screaming. Blood filled her mouth. "Tap out," Morrison snarled in her ear. "Tap out, Chen." Lily tasted blood, felt her right arm bending at that familiar angle, the one that meant breaking. Her vision tunneled, every nerve screamed, but she thought of Jake's texts, of 5 years running, of every person who'd said she was too weak, too broken, too worthless to matter. And she didn't tap. "Tap out!" Morrison wrenched harder. Something in Lily's arm gave, not a break, but close. A tearing sensation that promised permanent damage. She still didn't tap. 30 seconds! Rodriguez's voice cut through the red haze. Morrison adjusted his grip, going for a choke now, trying to force the tap out another way. Lily's vision darkened at the edges. Not enough air. Her hands scrabbled uselessly at his arm. No strength left to break the hold. 20 seconds. Lily's body went limp. Morrison thought he'd won, started to release, and Lily drove her head back into his face. She felt cartilage crunch. Morrison's hold loosened. Not much, but enough. Lily twisted, got her teeth on his forearm, and bit down like Rodriguez taught her. Not a nibble, a genuine bite, the kind meant to survive. Morrison roared and released her completely. Blood streamed from his nose. Lily rolled away, gasping, her arms completely non-functional now. Morrison lunged. "Time!" Davis's whistle shrieked. "Time! Break!" Morrison froze, fist drawn back. Lily lay on the mat, unable to move, blood in her mouth, both arms screaming, but she hadn't tapped. 3 minutes. She'd lasted. The gymnasium was silent. Every recruit, every lion staring. Then slowly someone started clapping. Another joined. Within seconds, the entire room was applauding, not for Morrison, but for Lily. Rodriguez was there suddenly, helping her sit up. "You did it," she whispered. "You actually did it." Morrison stood above them, blood dripping from his nose, breathing hard. For a long moment, he just stared down at Lily. Then he extended his hand. "You've got heart, Chen," he said quietly. "I'll give you that." Lily looked at his hand, at his face, at the respect, real respect, in his eyes. She tried to lift her arm to shake, couldn't. Everything below her shoulders refused to respond. Morrison's expression shifted to concern. "Medic," he called. "We need a medic." As they loaded Lily onto a stretcher, Rodriguez walked beside her. "You might have done permanent damage," she said. "You know that, right?" "Worth it," Lily whispered. "Maybe." Rodriguez squeezed her hand, her left, the one that still had some feeling. "But the evaluation was just the beginning. Tomorrow you still have to get up and do it all over again. The Marines don't stop for injuries." "I know. And Morrison might respect you now, but the other 35 Lions saw what happened. Some will respect you for it, others will see it as a challenge." Rodriguez's voice dropped. "You just painted a target on your back that won't wash off." Lily closed her eyes as they wheeled her toward medical, feeling every inch of her body scream protest. She'd lasted 3 minutes, earned the respect she needed, proved she could take what Morrison dished out. But Rodriguez was right. She'd won one battle. The war was just beginning, and somewhere out there Jake had her number, knew where she was, and was making promises about finishing what he started. 3 minutes of hell behind her, and a lifetime of it still ahead. The medical officer's diagnosis came down like a hammer. Severe tendon strain in both arms, microfractures in her right radius, exactly where Jake had broken it 5 years ago. Recommendation: immediate medical discharge. "Absolutely not," Lily said from the examination table. Dr. Hassan looked up from his chart. "You don't get a say in this, Chen. Your arms are compromised. If you continue training, you risk permanent nerve damage." "I'm not quitting." "This isn't about quitting. It's about basic medical reality." Hassan moved closer, his voice dropping. "I've seen your x-rays. Your bones didn't heal properly the first time. Whatever happened to you as a kid, it left structural damage. Adding military training on top of that is asking for catastrophic failure." Lily's throat tightened. "How long to heal?" 6 weeks minimum, probably 8. You'd have to recycle to the next training class, and even then, I can't guarantee. "No," the word came out hard. "I'm not recycling. I'm finishing with my class." Hassan sighed. "Then you're finishing with permanent disability. That's not dramatic, Chen. That's medical fact." He scribbled something on a prescription pad. "I'm putting in the discharge paperwork. You've got 72 hours to appeal, but I'd advise against it. Take the medical out. It's honorable. No black mark." He left before Lily could respond. She sat alone in the exam room, feeling everything she'd fought for slipping away. 3 minutes with Morrison, that's all it had bought her. 3 minutes of respect before her body betrayed her again. Her phone buzzed. She'd turned it back on after the fight. Another text from Jake. Heard you're hurt. That's what happens when you try to be something you're not. Come home. We'll take care of you. Lily's hands shook reading it. Jake knew she was injured. How? Was he tracking her somehow? Or just making educated guesses? A fourth text. You can't hide forever, Lily. I'm patient. I can wait. She threw the phone across the room. It hit the wall and clattered to the floor, screen cracking. Good. Let Jake text a broken phone. Let him wonder if she'd gotten his messages. Rodriguez appeared in the doorway. Heard about Hassan's recommendation. I'm not taking it. Your arms are destroyed, Lily. They've been destroyed for 5 years. I've been managing. Lily slid off the examination table, cradling her arms against her chest. I'll manage now. This is different. This is career-ending damage. If you push through and something breaks completely, you won't just lose the Marines. You'll lose function permanently. Rodriguez's voice hardened. Is proving a point worth never holding your own kid someday? Never being able to do basic tasks without pain? The question hit harder than Morrison's takedowns. Lily had never thought that far ahead. Kids seemed like fantasy, something normal people got to have, not broken girls with crooked arms and brothers who made threats. I don't know, she admitted quietly. Then figure it out, fast, because Hassan files that paperwork in 72 hours, and after that, the decision's made for you. Rodriguez pulled out a small bottle, more prescription anti-inflammatories. Take 2 now. Sleep. We'll talk in the morning. But sleep didn't come. Lily lay in her bunk, feeling her arms pulse with each heartbeat. Around her, other recruits slept soundly. Tomorrow they'd wake up and continue training. She'd wake up and face medical discharge. Unless she appealed, fought the recommendation, proved she could continue despite the damage. Her broken phone sat on the shelf beside her bunk. Even cracked, the screen still glowed with Jake's messages. I'm patient. I can wait. Lily grabbed the phone and typed with her thumbs. Painful, but possible. You don't get to decide my life anymore. Stay away from me. She hit send before she could reconsider, then blocked his number, changed her settings to reject unknown contacts. Jake could text all he wanted. She wouldn't see it. Morning came too fast. Lily dragged herself to the mess hall, her arms screaming. Morrison sat with the other lions, and when she walked past, he stood. Chen, got a minute? Every eye in the mess hall tracked them as Lily followed Morrison outside. Here it comes, she thought, the real cost of yesterday's fight. But Morrison's expression held no anger. I talked to Hassan, he said, heard about the discharge recommendation. Word travels fast. It does when a recruit goes 3 minutes with me and doesn't tap. Morrison leaned against the wall. Look, I'm not going to pretend we're friends. You bit me yesterday. I've got teeth marks on my arm. You were choking me out. Fair point. He almost smiled. But here's the thing. I've been doing this for 8 years, trained hundreds of recruits, and I've never seen someone push through that kind of pain without tapping. Your arms were compromised going into that fight. I could feel it, and you still didn't quit. So that's the exact mentality we need in reconnaissance. The ability to function through impossible circumstances, to complete the mission even when your body's telling you to stop. Morrison crossed his arms. Hassan's paperwork is going through official channels, but there's an informal appeal process. If a superior officer vouches for a recruit's capability despite medical concerns, it can override the recommendation. Lily's breath caught. You're offering to vouch for me? I'm saying I'll consider it. If you can prove you're still capable of meeting minimum standards. Morrison's eyes hardened. But understand what that means. No accommodations, no special treatment. You'd be held to the exact same requirements as every other recruit, injured arms or not. Can you handle that? Yes. Don't answer yet. Think about it. Because if you push through and fail anyway, you'll have wasted my credibility along with your own shot. Hassan's right about one thing. You risk permanent damage. Is that worth it? Rodriguez's question echoed. Is proving a point worth never holding your own kid someday? But this wasn't about proving a point anymore. This was about finishing something. About not letting Jake win. About being more than the broken girl hiding her pain. It's worth it, Lily said. Morrison studied her for a long moment. Okay, then meet me at the training range at 1600. You're going to show me you can still shoot accurately, still handle a rifle, still perform basic combat tasks. If you can, I'll file the voucher. If you can't, Hassan's paperwork goes through unopposed. I'll be there. And Chen? Morrison's voice softened slightly. Yesterday you fought like hell, but fighting and functioning are different things. Make sure you know which one you're capable of. The training range at 1600 was brutal. Morrison put her through every basic combat drill, rifle assembly, marksmanship, equipment maintenance, tactical movement. Each task required arm strength, grip, fine motor control. Everything Lily's damaged arm struggled with. The rifle kept slipping in her weakened grip. Her shooting group spread wide, nowhere near acceptable standards. During equipment maintenance, she dropped components twice, her hands refusing to cooperate. Morrison watched everything, his face unreadable. After an hour, he called a halt. That's enough. Lily set down the rifle, her arms trembling violently. I can do better. Give me another chance. Chen, you just demonstrated substandard performance in every category. Your shooting's off by 3 inches at 50 yards. You dropped critical rifle components. Your movement speed is compromised because you can't properly support weapon weight. Morrison shook his head. I can't vouch for this. You're not ready. I will be. Give me a week. Hassan files in 72 hours. A week won't change anything. Morrison started to walk away, then paused. I'm sorry. I really am. You've got more heart than half my unit, but heart doesn't override physiology. Lily stood alone on the range, watching him leave. Everything she'd fought for, gone. 3 minutes of glory, followed by 3 days of failure. Her phone buzzed in her pocket. She'd forgotten she had it on her. Despite changing settings, a message had come through. Not from Jake's number, but from her mother. Your brother says you're hurt. He wants to help. Just come home, honey. This military thing was never realistic for you anyway. Lily stared at the message, feeling something cold settle in her chest. Her mother, still enabling Jake, still choosing him over her, still believing Lily was the problem. She deleted the message and dialed Rodriguez's number. Chen, what's wrong? I need you to teach me something. Lily's voice was steady now, certain. You said angry people make mistakes. I need to learn how to make Morrison angry again. Not at me this time, at himself. Rodriguez was quiet for a moment. What are you planning? Morrison won't vouch for me because I can't meet standards. But standards are based on averages, on normal circumstances. Lily's mind raced. What if I show him I don't need to meet standards the normal way? What if I prove I can accomplish the mission using completely different methods? You're talking about adaptive techniques. I'm talking about survival. You said it yourself. This isn't sport. This is real world. In real combat, nobody cares if you hold a rifle the regulation way. They care if you hit the target. Lily started walking back toward the barracks, energy flooding through her despite the pain. Morrison wants to see if I can function. I'll show him I can do more than function. I'll show him I can excel, just not the way he expects. Rodriguez laughed, sharp and surprised. You want to run an unconventional demonstration. I want to show him that broken doesn't mean useless. It just means different. Lily reached the barracks. Can you help me? Meet me at the shed in 1 hour. And Chen, this better be the smartest plan you've ever had, because if it backfires, you're done. That night, Rodriguez taught Lily everything she knew about adaptive combat techniques. How snipers used monopods and bipods to stabilize rifles when arm strength failed. How special operations units modified equipment for injured operators. How you could accomplish the exact same objective through completely different methodology. The military has regulations, Rodriguez explained, but those regulations assume standard capability. When capability changes, method adapts. You just have to prove the adaptation works. They spent 3 hours rigging alternatives. A rifle harness that supported weight without requiring arm strength. Modified grip techniques that distributed pressure differently. Shooting positions that use core stability instead of upper body. This won't work for everything, Rodriguez warned. You'll still struggle with some tasks. But if you can demonstrate excellent performance in critical areas using adaptive methods, Morrison might reconsider. Might. It's better than nothing. It's desperate, but yeah, better than nothing. The next morning, Lily requested a meeting with Morrison. He looked surprised to see her. Chen, I thought we settled this yesterday. We did. You said I couldn't meet standards. Lily met his eyes. I want to show you something else. Give me 30 minutes at the range. Chen, 30 minutes. If I waste your time, Hassan's paperwork goes through without opposition. But if I show you something worth seeing, you consider the voucher again. That's all I'm asking. Morrison checked his watch. I've got 30 minutes before briefing. This better be good. At the range, Lily set up the modified equipment while Morrison watched with increasing skepticism. The rifle harness looked jury-rigged, because it was. But when she settled into position, everything clicked. The harness supported the weapon's weight. Her modified grip distributed pressure across her palms instead of relying on fingers. Her shooting position used her legs and core for stability, arms just guiding. She fired 5 rounds, all center mass. Tighter grouping than Morrison's own qualification score. Morrison's eyebrows rose. Again, she fired 10 more. Same result. Morrison walked down range, examining the target. When he returned, his expression had shifted. Where did you learn this? I adapted. Sir, you said heart doesn't override physiology. You're right, but intelligence does. Adaptive methodology does. Lily stood, the rifle still steady in its harness. I can't do things the standard way. My arms won't allow it. But I can do things. I can accomplish the mission. I just need permission to do it differently. Morrison circled her, examining the setup. This setup wouldn't work in field conditions. You couldn't deploy this in combat. The harness is temporary, for training only, but the techniques, the modified grip, the alternative positions, the pressure distribution, those work anywhere. Lily demonstrated shifting positions, maintaining accuracy. Special operations already uses adaptive methods for injured operators. I'm just applying them preventatively. You researched this. I had 3 weeks of insomnia. I researched everything. Morrison was quiet for a long time, studying the target, the equipment, Lily herself. Finally, he spoke. I'll file the voucher, on one condition. Anything. You train every morning at 0500 with me. Private sessions. I'll teach you adaptive methods for every combat scenario, and you'll demonstrate proficiency before moving forward. You fall behind even once, the voucher gets pulled. Understood? Lily's chest tightened. Understood. Good. Report tomorrow morning. And Chen? Morrison's expression was serious. What you're attempting is unprecedented. You're asking the Corps to accept that broken can be functional. If you succeed, you'll change policy for everyone who comes after you with similar challenges. But if you fail, you'll reinforce every stereotype about women being too weak for combat roles. That's the weight you're carrying. The magnitude of it settled over her like lead. This wasn't just about her anymore. Every female recruit who'd face similar challenges. Every operator who'd suffer career-ending injury and want to continue. Every person who didn't fit the standard mold. She was setting precedent for all of them. I won't fail, she said. Morrison extended his hand. This time, Lily could shake it. Her grip was weak, but present. Hassan's going to fight this, Morrison said. He'll argue medical impossibility. You'll need documentation, proof of capability, probably a full review board. Then we'll give them documentation. We? Morrison almost smiled. All right, Chen, you want to fight the system, I'll help you fight it. But understand, this is going to get ugly. Hassan's not wrong about the risks. Neither am I about the stakes. You sure you want this? Lily thought of Jake's text, her mother's message. 5 years of hiding and running and being told she was too broken to matter. I've never been more sure of anything. Over the next 48 hours, Lily and Morrison built a case. They documented every adaptive technique, filmed demonstration videos, compiled research on special operations methodology. Rodriguez provided testimonials. Even Master Sergeant Davis, after watching Lily's modified shooting, added his endorsement. Hassan fought back hard. He brought in medical experts, statistical analyses of injury recurrence, policy precedents. He argued that making exceptions for one recruit set dangerous precedent. That Lily's determination was admirable but irrelevant to physiological reality. The review board met on the third day. Lily sat in a conference room facing 5 senior officers while Hassan presented his case. Morrison sat beside her, his presence solid and unwavering. The recruiting question has sustained severe bilateral arm trauma, Hassan explained, displaying X-rays on a screen. Microfractures, tendon damage, and pre-existing malunion from previous injury. Continuing training risks permanent disability. Corporal Morrison has vouched for her capability, one of the board members noted. That carries weight. Corporal Morrison witnessed one demonstration using modified equipment, Hassan countered. One demonstration does not indicate sustained capability under full training conditions. I'm recommending medical discharge for the recruit's own protection. The board chair looked at Lily. Recruit Chen, you have the right to address the board. Do you have anything to add? Lily stood, her arms aching but functional. Sir, Dr. Hassan is correct about my injuries. He's correct that I can't meet standards the conventional way. But with respect, sir, the question isn't whether I'm injured. The question is whether I can still accomplish the mission despite injury. She pulled up the demonstration videos on her tablet, passing it to the board. These videos show adapted techniques that allow me to exceed qualification scores in marksmanship, equipment handling, and tactical response. I'm not asking for lowered standards. I'm asking permission to meet the same standards using different methodology. Adapted techniques are unreliable in combat stress, Hassan interjected. Special operations uses adapted techniques constantly, Morrison countered. Injured operators don't get discharged the moment they're hurt. They adapt. Chen's doing exactly what we'd expect from any operator who refuses to quit. The board deliberated for 20 minutes while Lily and Morrison waited outside. When they were called back in, the chair's expression was unreadable. Recruit Chen, we've reviewed your case and the supporting documentation. Your situation is highly unusual. However, Corporal Morrison's voucher, combined with your demonstrated capability, has convinced this board to approve a conditional continuance. Lily's heart stopped. Conditional, sir? You will continue training under direct supervision of Corporal Morrison. Weekly evaluations will assess your capability. Any significant decline in performance or medical deterioration will result in immediate discharge. Additionally, you will undergo bi-weekly medical monitoring. This is not a permanent approval. It's a trial period. Understood? Yes, sir, understood. Then you're dismissed. Report to Corporal Morrison at 0500 tomorrow. Outside the building, Lily's legs nearly gave out. Morrison caught her elbow, steadying her. Congratulations, he said. You just made corps history. First recruit approved to continue with documented permanent injury. Conditional approval. Still approval. Morrison released her arm. But Chen, listen to me. That board gave you a chance because I convinced them you could handle it. Don't make me regret vouching for you. I won't. Good, because now the real work starts. Everything up to this point was foundation. Now you've got to prove you can go the distance. His voice hardened, and the other lions heard about this. Some respect it, others see it as favoritism, special treatment. You just went from respected to controversial. That's going to make the next few weeks hell. I can handle hell. I've been there before. Morrison's expression shifted, something curious in his eyes. Yeah, he said quietly. I'm starting to believe you have. That night, Lily returned to her bunk to find a note tucked under her pillow. Anonymous. 5 words. Some of us are proud. She didn't know who'd written it. Another recruit, maybe. Or one of the lions who'd witnessed her fight with Morrison. Either way, it meant someone was watching. Someone had seen her refuse to quit and found inspiration in it. Lily folded the note carefully and tucked it into her locker. Then she took her broken phone and powered it up one last time. Jake's blocked messages showed as notifications, 14 of them. She deleted them without reading and factory reset the device. Whatever Jake had to say, whatever threats he made, they didn't matter anymore. She'd found something here that couldn't be broken. Not by injury, not by harassment, not by the ghost of a brother who tried to destroy her years ago. She'd found her own strength. And tomorrow, she'd prove it all over again. Morrison was waiting at 0500 sharp, 2 rifles laid out on the training mat. Lily arrived with 3 minutes to spare, her arms already aching from the anti-inflammatories wearing off overnight. We're starting with basics, Morrison said without preamble. You proved you can shoot with modifications. Now prove you can maintain those modifications under stress. He handed her the rifle. Field strip it. Reassemble, 60 seconds. Lily's hands shook, taking the weapon. Field stripping required fine motor control, grip strength, precise movements. Everything her damaged arms struggled with. She laid the rifle down and began, her fingers fumbling with components that should have been automatic. 30 seconds. The bolt carrier was stuck. She couldn't get enough grip to pull it free. 45 seconds. Lily adjusted her angle, used her palm instead of her fingers, leveraged her body weight. The bolt carrier came free. She worked faster, compensating for weakness with technique. Time. She had 3 components left. Failure. Morrison picked up the pieces and reassembled them in 5 seconds. Again, he said, and this time, don't fight your limitations. Use them. How do I use weakness? By accepting it exists and working around it instead of through it. Your fingers can't grip. Fine. Stop trying to grip. Use pressure points, leverage, alternative holds. Morrison demonstrated, showing her how to manipulate components using palm pressure and wrist rotation instead of finger strength. Adapt or fail. Those are your options. They drilled for 2 hours straight. Field strip, reassemble. Over and over until Lily's hands bled from the repetition. But by the end, she was completing it in 58 seconds. Not perfect, but passing. Tomorrow, 55 seconds, Morrison said. Every day we shave time. Every day you get better. No plateaus, no excuses. Yes, sir. And Chen, the other lions are watching. Some are rooting for you, most aren't. You're going to hear things. Ignore them. But ignoring them proved impossible. During breakfast, Lily overheard 3 lions at the next table. Morrison's going soft, one muttered. Special training sessions for the broken girl. What's next? Participation trophies? She earned it, another countered. You saw the fight. The fight was luck. 3 minutes doesn't make you capable. It makes you stubborn. The first lion's voice dripped contempt. Mark my words, she'll wash out before graduation. Morrison's wasting his time. Lily kept eating, her jaw tight. Rodriguez had warned her about this. Conditional approval meant constant scrutiny. Every mistake would be magnified. Every success dismissed as favoritism. After breakfast, Master Sergeant Davis pulled her aside. Chen, we need to talk about your final evaluation. Lily's stomach dropped. Sir? Every recruit faces a final qualification test before graduation. For most, it's standard: timed obstacle course, marksmanship test, tactical scenario. But your situation is unique. Davis crossed his arms. The review board wants proof that your adaptive techniques work under combat stress. Real stress, not controlled demonstrations. What kind of test? That's being determined, but I'll tell you this, it won't be easy. The board approved your continuance, but they're skeptical. They need you to prove beyond doubt that injury doesn't compromise mission capability. His eyes were serious. You're not just testing for yourself anymore. You're testing whether the Corps should allow other injured recruits to continue. That's immense pressure. I can handle it. We'll see. Davis handed her a folder. Your medical monitoring results from yesterday. Hassan flagged concerns about progressive deterioration in your right arm. The board will review these weekly. Any significant decline, you're done. Lily opened the folder, scanning the medical jargon. Phrases jumped out. Decreased range of motion, progressive nerve compression, risk of permanent disability. Hassan wasn't wrong. Her arms were getting worse, not better. I'll improve them, she said. You can't improve permanent injury, Chen. You can only manage it. Davis's voice softened slightly. I respect what you're doing, but don't sacrifice your future for a uniform. It's not worth it. Everyone kept saying that. Rodriguez, Morrison, Davis, Hassan. They all thought she was sacrificing too much, but none of them understood what she was sacrificing for. This wasn't about the uniform. It was about proving Jake hadn't destroyed her. That being broken didn't mean being worthless. That she could become something more than the scared girl who hid her injuries and took the abuse. The next 2 weeks were hell. Morrison's 0500 sessions pushed her to collapse every single morning. He drilled adaptive techniques until they became reflexive. Modified grips, alternative positions, compensatory movements. Everything she couldn't do the standard way, she learned to do differently. But the weekly evaluations were brutal. Each one involved the full training cadre watching her perform, documenting every weakness, every modification, every moment of struggle. Hassan attended every evaluation, his expression skeptical, his questions pointed. How do you plan to handle sustained fire with compromised grip strength? How will you carry a wounded Marine with non-functional arms? What happens when you're in a combat zone and don't have your modified equipment? Lily answered each question with demonstrated technique, but Hassan's doubt never wavered. After the third evaluation, he cornered her outside the testing facility. You're deteriorating, he said bluntly. Your medical readings show progressive decline. Range of motion down 8%. Nerve response delayed. You're destroying yourself to prove a point. I'm meeting all performance standards, modified standards, adapted standards, standards that won't hold up in actual combat. Hassan's frustration was palpable. Chen, I'm not your enemy here. I'm trying to protect you from permanent damage. Why can't you see that? Because permanent damage already happened. The words exploded out before Lily could stop them. 5 years ago, someone broke my arms and I didn't get help for 3 months. They healed wrong. That's permanent. That's done. I can't change it. But I can choose what I do with it. And I choose to keep fighting. Hassan stared at her, his expression shifting. Someone broke your arms? Lily's breath caught. She'd said too much. It doesn't matter. It matters medically. Intentional trauma versus accident affects treatment protocols. Hassan pulled out his tablet. I need to document this. Who injured you? I said it doesn't matter. Chen, if there was assault involved, there was, and I dealt with it. End of story. Lily started walking away. Wait! Hassan's voice stopped her. The x-rays showed old fractures that healed without proper medical intervention. I assumed neglect or poverty prevented treatment. But if this was assault, especially domestic assault, there are resources available. Counseling, support services. I don't need counseling. I need to finish training. You might need both. Hassan's expression had shifted from skepticism to something closer to understanding. Listen, I still think you're pushing too hard, but I'm starting to understand why. That doesn't change my medical recommendation, but it does change my approach. If you're going to keep doing this, let's at least do it safely. He pulled out a prescription pad, scribbling quickly. This is for nerve pain. Take it at night. It'll help with the inflammation and give you actual rest. He handed her the script. And I'm adding physical therapy to your weekly schedule. If you're going to keep stressing those arms, we need to strengthen the supporting muscles to prevent complete failure. Lily took the prescription, surprised. Why are you helping me? Because I'm a doctor. My job is to help people, even stubborn ones who won't listen to medical advice. Hassan almost smiled. Just don't make me regret this. The physical therapy was torture. The therapist, a grizzled Marine named Santos, put Lily through exercises that made her want to scream. But slowly, incrementally, she felt her arms responding better. Not healing, but adapting. Your body's learning to compensate, Santos explained during week 4. The damaged areas won't improve, but the surrounding muscle and connective tissue can pick up the slack. It's not perfect, but it's functional. Will it hold for the final evaluation? Depends on what they throw at you. Santos adjusted her arm position, showing her a strengthening exercise. Word is they're designing something unprecedented. Multiple scenarios, extended duration, stress conditions beyond standard testing. How do you know that? Because Morrison asked me what your absolute limits are, how far you can be pushed before breakdown. Santos met her eyes. He's preparing you for something big. That night, Morrison confirmed it. They were alone at the range, running night combat drills, when he finally explained. The final evaluation isn't standard, he said, lowering his night vision goggles. The board designed something specific for you, a gauntlet. What kind of gauntlet? Combat scenario, multi-stage, against multiple opponents. Morrison's voice was carefully neutral. You'll face a series of hand-to-hand confrontations, demonstrating adaptive techniques under progressive stress. How many opponents? Morrison hesitated. All of them. Lily's breath stopped. All of who? The Lions, all 36 of us. Morrison's expression was grim. The board wants proof that your techniques work against trained Marines in realistic combat, so they've authorized a demonstration. You'll face each Lion in 3-minute rounds, no breaks between rounds. It's designed to test endurance, technique sustainability, and psychological resilience. The math hit her like a punch. 36 Lions, 3 minutes each. 108 minutes of continuous combat with damaged arms against trained reconnaissance Marines. That's impossible, she whispered. It's designed to be. Morrison's voice hardened. The board doesn't want you to succeed, Chen. They want you to fail spectacularly so they can justify never approving another case like yours. They're setting you up. Then why are you training me for it? Because maybe you can prove them wrong. It's a 1% chance, but it's still a chance. Morrison moved closer. But you need to understand what you're walking into. This isn't about honor or respect anymore. This is about survival. About lasting long enough to prove the point. Even if you don't beat all 36, if you can last through enough of them to demonstrate sustained capability, that might be enough. How many is enough? I don't know, 20, 25? The board didn't specify. Morrison's frustration was clear. They're moving the goalpost deliberately, making it impossible to know if you passed until it's over. Lily felt the walls closing in. This was the trap Hassan had warned about. The system creating impossible conditions, ensuring failure, then using that failure to justify discrimination. When? Graduation day, 5 weeks, in front of the entire training battalion, the review board, and senior command. Morrison's eyes were steady. This is your final test, Chen. Pass and you'll make history. Fail and you'll become the reason they never let another injured recruit try. The pressure of it was crushing. But beneath the pressure, something else stirred. The same fierce determination that had carried her through Morrison's chokehold, through Hassan's discharge recommendation, through 5 years of hiding and running. "Then I won't fail," she said. Morrison studied her for a long moment. "The other lions are divided. Some are rooting for you. Others want to see you broken. When that day comes, you won't know which ones are which until you're in the ring with them. It doesn't matter. I'll face them all the same." That's the right attitude. But Chen, Morrison's voice dropped. "There's something else you need to know. Someone's been making inquiries about you. Civilian, asking questions around the base. Claims to be your brother." Lily's world tilted. "What?" "Base security flagged it yesterday. A man named Jake Chen tried to enter the facility, claiming family emergency. He was denied entry but made statements about you being in danger, needing help, being coerced." Morrison watched her reaction carefully. "Is he actually your brother?" "Yes." The word tasted like poison. "And the family emergency?" "A lie. Everything he says is a lie." Lily's hands were shaking now. "Don't let him on base. Don't let him near me." Security already denied him, but he's been seen around the perimeter, watching, waiting. Morrison's expression darkened. "Is he the one who broke your arms?" Lily couldn't speak, couldn't breathe. Jake was here. After 5 years he'd found her, was watching her. "Chen, if there's a threat, he won't try anything on base. Too many witnesses." But even as she said it, Lily wasn't sure. Jake had gotten bolder over the years. The texts had proven that. Maybe proximity was his next escalation. "I'm filing a report with base security," Morrison said. "They'll increase perimeter patrols. But if he approaches you off base..." "I don't go off base." "You will for the final evaluation. It's being held at the main training complex, which requires transport through civilian areas." Morrison pulled out his phone. "I'm putting you on protective watch. Whenever you move off base, you'll have escort." "That's not necessary." "It's absolutely necessary. You've got 5 weeks until the biggest test of your life. I'm not letting some civilian sabotage months of work." Morrison's voice was final. "Rodriguez will coordinate security. You focus on training." But focusing became impossible. Knowing Jake was nearby, watching, waiting, it infected everything. During training, Lily found herself scanning the perimeter. During meals, she sat with her back to walls. At night, she lay awake listening to every sound. Rodriguez noticed immediately. "You're distracted." "I'm fine." "You're not. Your reaction time is off. Your awareness is compromised." Rodriguez grabbed her shoulders. "Talk to me. What's going on?" Lily told her everything. Jake's texts, his appearance at the base, 5 years of running and hiding and looking over her shoulder. Rodriguez listened without interrupting. When Lily finished, Rodriguez was quiet for a long moment. "You know what I see?" Rodriguez finally said. "A girl who survived something terrible and built a life anyway, who refused to let trauma define her, who's strong enough to face 36 Marines, but still scared of one man." She tightened her grip on Lily's shoulders. "That's normal. That's human. But here's what you need to understand. Jake's power over you exists only in your head now. He can't touch you here, can't hurt you. The only weapon he has is fear, and you're giving it to him. What if he tries something during the evaluation? Then he'll face 36 reconnaissance Marines who've spent months watching you fight for your place here. You think Morrison would let anything happen to you? The other lions who respect you? Even Hassan, who argues with you constantly, would defend you in a heartbeat. You're not alone anymore, Lily. You've got a whole unit backing you." The words hit deeper than Rodriguez probably intended. Lily had spent 5 years believing she had to face everything alone. That protection was an illusion. That trust meant vulnerability. But here, in this brutal place designed to break people, she'd found something unexpected. People who fought for her, who pushed her harder because they believed she could take it, who saw her broken parts and helped her build around them instead of dismissing her as hopeless. "I don't know how to trust that," Lily admitted quietly. "Then learn. You've got 5 weeks." Rodriguez released her shoulders. "And here's some motivation. The final evaluation. I'll be there. Morrison will be there. Davis, Hassan, Santos, everyone who's invested in your success. We're not just watching, we're bearing witness. And if Jake shows up, if he tries anything, he'll find out what happens when you threaten a Marine in front of her unit." The fierce protectiveness in Rodriguez's voice made Lily's throat tight. This was what family was supposed to feel like. Not blood obligation or toxic enabling, but chosen loyalty, earned respect, mutual defense. "Thank you," Lily managed. "Thank me by crushing this evaluation, by showing every person who doubted you exactly what you're made of." Rodriguez's smile was sharp. "Now let's get back to training. You've got 36 Marines to prepare for, and we're burning daylight." The final 3 weeks were brutal beyond anything Lily had experienced. Morrison ran her through combat scenarios until she could barely stand. Santos pushed her physical therapy to the edge of tolerance. Rodriguez drilled psychological resilience, putting Lily through simulated stress scenarios designed to break concentration. "The Lions will play mind games," Rodriguez warned. "They'll try to psych you out between rounds. You need to learn to reset mentally in seconds, not minutes." During one session, Rodriguez had Morrison, Santos, and 3 other Lions surround Lily, all shouting different instructions simultaneously while she tried to complete combat tasks. It was sensory overload, deliberately overwhelming, and Lily failed 3 times before finally succeeding on the 4th attempt. "That's what it'll feel like," Rodriguez explained. "Chaos, noise, pressure, and you need to function through all of it." The weekly evaluations continued, and Hassan's reports remained concerning. Lily's arms were holding, but barely. The nerve compression was worsening. The microfractures showed signs of stress propagation. "You're on a countdown," Hassan told her after the final weekly eval. "Your arms will fail eventually. The question is whether they fail before or after graduation day. They'll hold. Your confidence doesn't change biology." Hassan closed his tablet. "But I'll say this, I've never seen someone push through pain like you do. Most people would have quit weeks ago. Whatever's driving you, it's stronger than self-preservation." Maybe self-preservation isn't always the right choice. Maybe, or maybe you're just too stubborn to know when to quit. Hassan almost smiled. "Either way, I hope you make it, I really do. Because if you can pull this off, you'll prove me wrong in the best possible way." 2 days before the final evaluation, Morrison called an emergency meeting. The entire Lion Company assembled, and Lily stood facing all 36 of them. "Chen's final test is in 48 hours, Morrison announced. "Some of you are supportive, some aren't. I don't care about your personal feelings. What I care about is professionalism. When you step into that ring with her, you will give her the same respect you'd give any Marine. You will test her fairly. You will not deliberately injure her beyond necessary contact. Understood?" Murmurs of agreement rippled through the group, but Lily saw the expressions, some genuinely respectful, others resentful, a few openly hostile. "Chen," Morrison continued, "these are your opponents. Study them, learn their styles, prepare accordingly." One Lion stepped forward, the same one who'd called her broken at breakfast weeks ago. "What if she doesn't make it through all 36? What's the cutoff for pass?" "There isn't one," Morrison said flatly. "She goes until she physically can't continue. However long she lasts, that's her score. The review board will determine if it's sufficient. So we could break her in round 10 and she'd still fail?" The Lion's smile was cruel. "Good to know." Morrison's expression went ice cold. "Corporal Hayes, if you deliberately injure Chen beyond combat necessity, I will personally ensure you face disciplinary action. Am I clear? Hayes's smile didn't fade. Crystal, sir. I'll test her fairly, but if she can't handle fair testing, that's on her, not me. Tension crackled through the room. Lily met Hayes's eyes and saw genuine malice there. He wasn't just skeptical or resentful. He actively wanted her to fail, to be hurt, to prove that women, especially broken ones, didn't belong. Morrison dismissed the group, but Hayes lingered, circling Lily like a predator. 2 days, he said quietly, his voice pitched for her alone. 2 days until we expose you for the fraud you are. You've got Morrison fooled, but the rest of us see through it. You're weak, damaged, and when I get you in that ring, I'm going to make sure everyone sees it. Lily kept her expression neutral. You'll have your chance. Don't waste it talking. Hayes's eyes flashed. He stepped closer, invading her space. You bit Morrison during your evaluation. Dirty fighting, cheap tricks. That's all you've got. Against real technique, you're nothing. Then prove it in 2 days. Oh, I will. And Chen? Hayes leaned in close enough that she could smell his breath. I hope your brother shows up to watch. I hope he sees exactly what happens to girls who think they're Marines. Lily's control snapped. She grabbed Hayes by the collar, her damaged arms screaming protest, and slammed him back against the wall. The move was pure instinct, pure rage, and completely against regulations. You don't get to talk about my brother, she hissed. You don't get to use him against me. And when I face you in that ring, I'm going to make you regret every word. Hayes's surprise shifted to satisfaction. Assault on a superior? That's grounds for discharge, Chen. Thanks for making this easy. Morrison appeared between them, wrenching them apart. Both of you, stand down, now! Lily released Hayes, her hands shaking with adrenaline. Morrison looked between them, his expression furious. Hayes, get out. Now. Morrison waited until Hayes left, then turned to Lily. What the hell were you thinking? He was baiting you and you took it. He brought up Jake. I don't care what he brought up. You put hands on a superior officer. That's discharge-level offense. Morrison paced, his frustration palpable. Hayes will report this. It'll go to the review board. They already want you to fail, and you just gave them ammunition. Lily's stomach dropped as the magnitude of her mistake hit home. 2 days before the final evaluation, and she just destroyed everything. I'm sorry, she whispered. I wasn't thinking. No, you weren't. You let emotion override judgment. That's exactly what they expect from you. Morrison stopped pacing, his jaw tight. I'll try to contain this. Talk to Hayes, convince him not to file. But Chen, you've got to control yourself. The evaluation isn't just physical, it's psychological. If they can get in your head, make you react emotionally, you lose. Do you understand? Yes, sir. Good, because in 48 hours you face 36 Marines, and some of them will try everything Hayes just did. They'll bring up your brother, your injuries, every insecurity you have, and you need to stay focused through all of it. Morrison's voice softened slightly. Can you do that? Lily thought of Jake's texts, Hayes's malice, 5 years of running and hiding, 2 days until everything she'd fought for would be decided. I can do it, she said. I have to. Morrison managed to suppress Hayes's complaint, but the cost was clear. Hayes would be gunning for her during the evaluation, and Morrison couldn't intervene once the round started. Lily spent the final 48 hours in a state of controlled terror, running through techniques, managing pain, trying to quiet the voice in her head that whispered she couldn't do this. Rodriguez found her the night before, sitting alone behind the barracks. You ready? No. Good. If you felt ready, I'd be worried. Rodriguez sat beside her. Listen to me. Tomorrow you're going to hurt more than you've ever hurt. You're going to want to quit. Your arms are going to scream. Hayes is going to try to break you. Some of the other lions will too. But here's what you need to remember. You've already survived the worst thing that ever happened to you. Jake broke your arms and you didn't tell anyone for 3 months. You lived through that. Tomorrow is just one day, just a few hours. You can survive anything for a few hours. What if I can't? Then you go down fighting, but you don't quit. You don't tap until your body physically won't respond anymore. That's the difference between failure and defeat. Failure is giving up. Defeat is being stopped by something beyond your control. Make sure it's the second one, not the first. Lily nodded, her throat too tight to speak. One more thing, Rodriguez added. Security spotted your brother at a hotel 2 miles from base. He's still here, still watching. I don't know if he'll try something tomorrow, but we're prepared if he does. You focus on the lions. We'll handle Jake. Sleep that night was impossible. Lily lay in her bunk, listening to her heartbeat, feeling her arms throb with each pulse. At 0400, she gave up and went to the gym. Morrison was already there. Figured you'd show up early, he said. Come on, one last session. They didn't drill techniques. Morrison just put her through basic movements, keeping her loose, her mind focused. At 0530, Rodriguez joined them. At 0600, Santos arrived. By 0630, a dozen Marines who'd watched Lily's journey had gathered. Not the Lions, but support staff, other trainers, even a few recruits from other companies. Word got out, Morrison explained. Nobody's seen an evaluation like this before. You're making history today, Chen, one way or another. At 800, they transported her to the main training complex. The facility was massive, and when Lily entered the main arena, her breath caught. Bleachers surrounded a regulation combat mat. Hundreds of Marines already filled the seats. The review board sat at a raised table on one side. The Lions stood in formation on the other. All 36 of them, Hayes front and center. And in the back corner, barely visible in the civilian section, Lily saw him, Jake, her brother, watching with that same cold smile he'd worn the night he broke her arms. Rodriguez saw her freeze. Ignore him. Eyes forward. He can't touch you here. Master Sergeant Davis took center stage, his voice amplified through the facility speakers. Attention! Today's evaluation is a demonstration of adaptive combat capability under sustained stress conditions. Recruit Chen will face 36 opponents in 3-minute rounds with no rest intervals. Combat continues until recruit is unable to continue or all rounds are complete. This is a closed evaluation. No interference from observers. Begin! Morrison was first. He stepped onto the mat, and Lily saw the apology in his eyes. He'd have to test her fairly, couldn't go easy just because he'd trained her. Ready? He asked quietly. Lily settled into her stance, arms already aching. Ready. The whistle blew and Morrison came fast, testing her immediately. Lily defended, using every technique they drilled. Morrison was holding back slightly. She could feel it, but he was still formidable. She lasted the 3 minutes, survived without major damage, but was already breathing hard when time expired. Round 2. A lion named Patterson, muscular and efficient. He went for her arms immediately, trying to exploit the weakness. Lily compensated, used her legs and core, kept mobile, survived. Round 3, Martinez, quick and aggressive. He caught her with a sweep that sent her sprawling. Lily rolled, came up, defended, barely survived. By round 5, her arms were screaming. By round 10, she'd lost most feeling in her right hand. The Lions rotated through, some respectful, testing her fairly, others aggressive, pushing harder than necessary. Hayes was scheduled for round 15, and Lily felt dread building with each passing round. Round 12, Jackson, a heavyweight who outweighed her by 150 pounds. He got her in a crushing bear hug that drove air from her lungs. Lily fish-hooked his mouth, made him release, survived on pure instinct. Round 13, Williams, technical and precise. He systematically broke down her defense, exploited every weakness. Lily survived but took significant damage. Her left elbow hyperextended, her right shoulder wrenched. Round 14. Cooper, who'd been one of her early tormentors but had grown to respect her. He tested her fairly, even gave her a subtle opening that allowed her to survive with minimal damage. When time expired, he nodded respect. Round 15. Hayes. He stepped onto the mat with predatory confidence, and Lily saw the calculation in his eyes. This wasn't about testing, this was about breaking. 3 minutes, Hayes said quietly. That's all I need to end this farce. The whistle blew and Hayes exploded forward with vicious intent. He wasn't testing technique, he was hunting injury. Every strike targeted her arms, her shoulders, the places he knew were compromised. Lily defended desperately, but Hayes was skilled and motivated and cruel. He caught her right arm, the one with the old break, and wrenched it backwards. Pain whited out her vision. Lily heard something tear, tendon or ligament, she couldn't tell. Her arm went completely numb. Hayes smiled and switched targets to her left arm. 1 down, he hissed. 1 to go. Lily had one functional arm now. Hayes knew it. The crowd knew it. Lily should have tapped, should have stopped before permanent damage. But Rodriguez's words echoed, "You don't tap until your body physically won't respond." Hayes got her in a joint lock on her left arm, applying pressure that promised to break it just like Jake had broken the right one 5 years ago. Lily's vision tunneled. She tasted blood. Her entire world narrowed to a single point of white-hot agony. And then she remembered Jake's face, his hands twisting, the snap of bone, the years of hiding and running and being told she was too broken to matter. Lily went limp, making Hayes support her weight. He adjusted his grip, trying to maintain the lock, and Lily drove her knee up into his groin with everything she had left. Hayes folded, gasping. The lock broke. Lily scrambled away on one functional arm in sheer willpower. "Dirty fighting," Hayes wheezed. "She's fighting dirty." Morrison was on his feet. "Legal strike. Combat continues." Hayes surged up, furious now, and came at her again. But he was fighting angry, not smart. Lily used his momentum, sidestepped, let him overcommit. He stumbled. She didn't think, just moved. Drove her elbow into his kidney, then swept his legs. Hayes went down hard. The crowd exploded. Hayes on the mat. Lily standing, one arm completely useless, the other barely functional, but standing. Time expired. Round 15 complete. 21 rounds to go. Rodriguez was there instantly with water, medical tape, assessment. "Your right arm's done. You're fighting one-handed now. Can you continue?" Yes, that wasn't a medical opinion, that was a demand. Can you continue? Lily looked at Rodriguez, then at Morrison, then at the crowd, at Jake in the back, watching, waiting to see her fail. "Yes," she repeated, "I can continue." Santos wrapped her right arm tight against her body, immobilizing it. "Don't use this, at all. You're fighting left-handed only now, understand?" Rounds 16 through 20 were a blur of pain and survival. Lily adapted on the fly, compensating for having only one arm. Some lions went easier, seeing the damage. Others pressed harder, smelling blood. She survived on technique, on dirty tricks, on sheer refusal to quit. Round 21. A lion named Foster, who'd never spoken to her, but fought with focused respect. 3 minutes of clean combat. Lily survived. Round 22. Exhaustion was setting in. Her left arm trembled with every movement. Lily's vision spotted at the edges. She couldn't remember the lion's name, just defended on autopilot. Round 23. She went down hard, took a knee to the ribs that cracked something. Lily tasted copper, felt her left arm failing. This was it. The breakdown Rodriguez had warned about. Her body physically couldn't continue, but she got up anyway. Survived the round on defense alone, just trying not to get hit. Round 24. Morrison rotated back in. His expression was anguished. Chen, tap out. You've proven enough. Not yet. Each word cost her. He tested her gently, and Lily knew he was giving her a reprieve. 3 minutes of survivable combat while she caught her breath. When time expired, Morrison gripped her left shoulder carefully. 12 more, he said. Can you make it? Lily couldn't speak, just nodded. Round 25 through 30 passed in a haze. Lily's body moved on pure muscle memory, her mind distant. She fell, got up, defended, survived, over and over. The crowd had gone silent, watching something beyond normal endurance, watching someone refuse to break despite every reason to quit. Round 31, haze again, scheduled rotation. He stepped onto the mat, and Lily saw murder in his eyes. Still standing, he said, let's fix that. This time, Hayes didn't bother with technique. He just bull-rushed her, drove her into the mat with crushing force. Lily's left arm, her only functional limb, couldn't support the impact. Something gave, not bone. Worse, the repaired tendon from 5 years ago. The one that had barely held together this long. She felt it tear completely, both arms gone now. Lily lay on the mat, unable to move her upper body at all. Hayes stood over her, breathing hard. Tap out, Chen, it's over. Lily tried to lift her arms to tap. Couldn't. They wouldn't respond. She'd reached the point Rodriguez described, physically unable to continue. This was defeat, not failure. She'd lasted 31 rounds, proven more than anyone expected, but she saw Jake in the crowd, rising from his seat, that smile spreading. And something inside Lily broke. Not her body this time. The fear, the shame, the belief that being broken meant being worthless. She couldn't use her arms. Fine. Rodriguez had taught her to fight with everything else. Lily swept Hayes's leg with her own, using leg strength alone. He stumbled, caught himself. She rolled, got her legs around his knee, applied pressure. Basic jiu-jitsu, no hands needed. Hayes went down, shocked. The crowd was screaming now. Time expired. Round 31 complete. 5 more rounds. Hayes stared at her from the mat. How are you still fighting? Because I can, Lily said simply. Rounds 32 through 35 were surreal. The lions tested her almost gently now, bearing witness to something beyond normal evaluation. Lily fought with just her legs, her core, her head, her teeth. Every tool Rodriguez had taught her except the broken arms. Round 36, the final lion, a massive Marine named Thompson who'd never shown her anything but respect. He stepped onto the mat, and Lily saw tears in his eyes. You've already won, he said quietly. This round is just formality. Then let's do it right. They fought for 3 minutes, Thompson testing her with the dignity of a warrior acknowledging another warrior. When time expired, the entire facility erupted, every Marine on their feet, applauding, some openly weeping. Lily collapsed. Morrison caught her before she hit the mat, lowering her carefully. Rodriguez and Santos were there instantly, medical staff flooding the arena. But Lily was smiling, even as her body shut down. All 36, she whispered. I faced all 36. The review board deliberated for 15 minutes while medical staff treated Lily. Hassan worked on her arms with fury and precision, stabilizing damage, preparing her for transport to the hospital. You destroyed yourself, he said, his voice thick. Both tendons torn, severe nerve damage. This is permanent, Chen. You understand? Permanent. I know. Was it worth it? Lily looked past him to where Morrison stood with the other lions, all 36 of them now standing in formation, facing her. Not as opponents, as brothers in arms. Yes, she said, it was worth it. The review board chair approached, his expression unreadable. Recruit Chen, the board has reached a decision. Your performance today was, he paused, searching for words, unprecedented. You demonstrated capability beyond what anyone thought possible. However, your injuries require immediate medical intervention and extended recovery. You will be medically retired from active training. Lily's heart stopped. After everything. But, the chair continued, your retirement will be with full honors, and upon medical clearance, you will be offered a position as an adaptive combat instructor, teaching other injured Marines the techniques you've demonstrated. Your rank will be sergeant, effective immediately, in recognition of extraordinary courage and innovation under impossible circumstances. The words didn't process at first. Then slowly, understanding hit. She wasn't being discharged, she was being promoted, given a position teaching others what she'd learned. Morrison stepped forward, holding a set of sergeant stripes. May I? The chair nodded. Morrison carefully pinned the stripes to Lily's collar, his hands gentle on her damaged shoulders. You did it, he said quietly. You changed everything. Rodriguez appeared, her face streaked with tears. 36 rounds. You absolute maniac. You actually did it. Santos just gripped her hand, the left one, the one that still had some feeling. Proud of you, Marine. The crowd was still applauding, and Lily felt the weight of it settling over her. She'd proven what she set out to prove. That broken didn't mean worthless. That adaptation was strength. That refusing to quit mattered more than natural advantage. But there was one more thing. Jake, she said, looking at Morrison. My brother. He's here. Security's been tracking him. Want us to remove him? Lily thought about it. 5 years of running, of letting Jake's shadow control her choices, of being the scared girl who hid her pain. No, she said. I want to talk to him. They brought Jake down from the stands, security flanking him. He looked smaller than Lily remembered, older. His confidence wavered when he saw her surrounded by Marines, saw the respect in their eyes, the protective formation they'd unconsciously created around her. Lily, he said, forcing a smile, that was something really impressive. Listen, I know things have been rough between us, but I'm still your brother. I'm here to support. You broke my arms, Lily said clearly. Her voice carried through the suddenly quiet arena. 5 years ago, you twisted them until they snapped. And when I healed wrong, you told me it was my fault, that I deserved it. Jake's face went pale. I don't know what you're talking about. Yes, you do. You've been texting me, threatening me, tracking me down. Lily's voice stayed steady despite the pain radiating through her entire body. But here's what you need to understand. You didn't break me that night. You broke my arms. My body, but not me. Never me. Lily, people are listening. Good. Let them listen. Let them hear what you did. Let them know that the girl you tried to destroy just faced 36 Marines with those broken arms and refused to quit. Let them know that every person who said I was too weak, too damaged, too broken to matter, including you, was wrong. Lily stood, Morrison and Rodriguez supporting her. You have no power over me anymore, Jake. You're nothing but a memory of who I used to be afraid of. Jake looked around at the Marines surrounding them, at the crowd watching, at security waiting for a reason to remove him, forcefully. He'd come expecting to see his broken little sister fail. Instead, he'd watched her become something he could never comprehend, someone who turned pain into power, trauma into triumph. Get him out of here, Morrison said to security, and file a restraining order, permanent. They escorted Jake away, and Lily watched him go without feeling anything. No fear, no anger, just nothing. He was irrelevant now, a ghost finally laid to rest. Hassan appeared with a wheelchair. Hospital. Now, your arms need immediate surgery. One more thing first. Lily turned to the Lions, all 36 of them still standing in formation. Hayes, front and center. Hayes stepped forward, his expression uncertain. Lily met his eyes, remembering his cruelty, his determination to break her. And she remembered something else. He'd tested her at her limits, and she'd survived anyway. Thank you, she said simply. Hayes blinked. What? You tried to break me, pushed harder than anyone, and because of that, I learned I couldn't be broken. So thank you. Hayes stared at her for a long moment. Then slowly his expression shifted from confusion to something like respect. He saluted, sharp, formal, the kind of salute given to superior officers. "Sergeant Chen," he said, "it was an honor to test you." The other lions saluted as well, one by one, until all 36 stood at attention, acknowledging what they'd witnessed. Lily, who could barely lift her arms, nodded acceptance. They wheeled her to the hospital then, Rodriguez and Morrison flanking the wheelchair, Santos following with her medical charts. At the hospital entrance, Rodriguez squeezed her shoulder gently. "You know what you are?" Rodriguez said. "You're proof. Proof that the system can change, that broken people can be warriors, that strength comes in forms nobody expected." She smiled. "You're going to teach a lot of people that, Sergeant, starting with yourself." The surgery took 6 hours. Hassan repaired what he could, stabilized what he couldn't. When Lily woke in recovery, he was there. "Both arms will require extensive physical therapy," he said. "You'll regain maybe 60% function in the left, 40 in the right. You'll deal with chronic pain for the rest of your life, and you'll never be able to do what you did today again. Your body won't allow it." "But I did it once," Lily said. "That's enough." Hassan smiled, genuine warmth this time. "Yeah, it's enough." 6 months later, Lily stood in front of her first class as an adaptive combat instructor. 20 Marines, all dealing with injuries that would have ended their careers under old policies, all looking at her with the same desperation she'd felt walking into that recruitment office. "My name is Sergeant Chen," she said, her arms still weak, still aching, but functional enough, gesturing as she spoke. "I'm here to teach you that injury doesn't mean ending. It means adapting. I'm here to show you that broken doesn't mean worthless. It means different. And I'm here to prove that strength comes in forms the military didn't used to recognize, but does now, because people like us refuse to quit when everyone said we should." She moved to the mat, demonstrating a modified technique, her damaged arms working around their limitations rather than through them. "You're going to hurt," she continued. "You're going to want to give up. People are going to doubt you. But here's what I learned facing 36 Marines with 2 broken arms. The only person who can defeat you is yourself. Everyone else is just testing whether you'll defeat yourself for them." After class, Morrison found her in the training office, reviewing student files. He'd been promoted to captain, partly in recognition of his role in developing adaptive training protocols. "How's the first day?" he asked. "Good, scary, important." Lily set down the files. "Morrison, I wanted to thank you for vouching for me, for training me, for believing I could do this when nobody else did." "I didn't make you do anything, Chen. You did the work. You survived the testing. You changed the policy." Morrison smiled. "I just gave you the opportunity. You're the one who proved it mattered." Rodriguez appeared in the doorway, now a lieutenant after being promoted for her role in developing the adaptive training program. "Chen, you've got a visitor." Lily looked up, concerned, but Rodriguez was smiling. "It's okay. It's good." In the waiting area stood a young woman, maybe 19, with her arm in a specialized brace. She looked nervous, hopeful, and familiar in a way that made Lily's chest tight. "Sergeant Chen," the woman said, "my name is Maria. I was injured in a car accident last year. Broke my arm so badly they said it would never be the same. I was going to quit my enlistment, but then I heard about you. About what you did. About this program." Tears filled her eyes. "I drove 12 hours to get here because I needed to meet you, to thank you, because you proved that people like me can still serve, can still matter, can still be Marines." Lily stood, moved toward Maria, and saw herself at 21, broken, scared, desperate for someone to tell her she wasn't worthless. She understood then, fully, what she'd accomplished. It wasn't just surviving 36 rounds. It wasn't just earning a promotion. It was creating a path for everyone who came after her, Everyone who'd been told their damage disqualified them from mattering. "Welcome to the program," Lily said, extending her damaged hand. "Let's teach you how to be unstoppable." Maria took her hand, gripping tight despite the weakness in both their grasps. Behind them, Morrison and Rodriguez watched, bearing witness to the beginning of something new, something powerful, something born from refusing to accept that broken meant defeated. Lily had walked into the Marines trying to escape her past, to prove Jake hadn't destroyed her worth. She'd emerged having done more than that. She'd proven broken could be powerful, that adaptation was strength, and that the only limits that truly mattered were the ones people placed on themselves. She'd faced 36 Marines with 2 arms that should have failed, and refused to quit until every single round was complete. And in doing so, she'd changed not just her own story, but the story of every person who'd come after her, carrying damage they'd been told disqualified them from greatness. Some people are born strong, but the ones who learn to be unbreakable despite their fractures, those are the ones who teach the rest of us what strength actually means.